Hi guys! Today we are going to get out our watercolors and use them for the first time and go ahead and make a color wheel and talk about primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Okay, so the watercolors that I provided for you are the Prang watercolor sets, which are the best student grade quality that we could buy. It comes with a nice brush, and when you first use it, the recommendation is to take your water cup and put a few drops of water into each color. Okay, you might want to dry your brush on a paper towel in between colors so that you don't get any orange into the yellow, for example. Swish that around. Just maybe like 3 drops of water. And this is because they are semi-moist, but they're not very wet. Oh, you really don't need to do the last two because those are two different kinds of black. So I guess they don't put brown in the watercolor pods anymore. Okay, I always get 2 cups of water. So before you start this video, or maybe you'll want to pause it and go get your water cups. That way, one, you can rinse out the brush in this cup, and then as a final rinse in the second cup, and that just keeps your water from getting too dirty and needing to be changed. Okay, and then whenever we paint with our watercolor sets, we're going to use our 50 or 80-pound paper, sorry. That is a thicker drawing paper because we didn't get watercolor paper because it's a little too expensive. So the thicker paper should do just fine. Always starting with our lightest color first. So obviously that is yellow. So in the top center of your paper, I want you to just use the yellow and make a circle, and then rinse out your brush really good. In the first cup, swish it in the second cup, dry it a little bit, and then you're going to come over here to as if we're making a triangle setup. So we've got yellow at the top, then we're going to have blue over here and red over here. Now these are the primary colors. So I'll probably have you circle them. I should have done this before I started painting with my yellow. We'll see if maybe I can get some of that moisture off of there and go ahead and write a Y. Oh, that worked out pretty good. So red, blue, yellow, blue, and red are primaries. So we're going to just fill those in first. I'll just draw my circle, draw my circle. Those aren't very good circles, but that's okay. So I'm going to take blue and paint in this circle, and then I'm going to rinse out really good once again. Noticing that yellow and blue make green. And then swish it in the second cup, dry it a little, and then red. So the more water you use, the lighter the color, the less water, the darker the color, which I'm sure makes sense to you. So we've got our red. Once again, when you mix red and green together, you can see it's kind of made a gray. It's going to make a neutral. Still, after using 3 colors, our water cup is not that dirty. So now we're going to do the colors in between those. So we're going to make a second triangle. So I'm going to make a circle and another circle in between here and another circle in between here. I found that if you don't do it this way, then you kind of, the spacing is funny when you just go around in a circle, you end up running out of space. So yellow, so it'll go yellow, yellow, green, green. So we know yellow plus blue equals green, and blue plus red equals violet, and yellow plus red equals orange. Okay, and those are the secondary colors. So at this time, go ahead and write secondary on those three. So I kind of forgot to have you do that the first time on the primaries, but we can go back and do that. So secondary on those, and we'll go back and write primary on yellow, primary on blue, and primary on red. All right, so now out of these colors, I would say the orange is the lightest. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my orange. Praying orange is not the best orange I've ever seen. It's not my favorite, but we're just going to have to make do. Okay, once again, rinsing first in one cup and then the other, then dabbing. And then I can, between violet and green, there's not really a huge difference. Both are very strong colors, but I'll go ahead and do green first. Rinsing first cup, second cup, dabbing. Now, if you mix violet and green together, it's another neutral color, so you want to be careful about that. Sorry, I caught the cord on my camera. I have two different setups here, so I've got to make sure I don't wiggle the table or catch the cord, and then it wiggles my camera. Okay, so that is a really pretty violet. So this is about how dirty my water cup is. Rinsing it out again. So this time I could change, but that is really what this cup is for. It's still 100% clear. Okay. Now we're going to create something called a tertiary color. I also like to call them intermediate colors because that's a little easier to say, but they're basically mixing a primary plus a secondary equals the tertiary. So I'm going to make those circles a little bit smaller and put them in between each primary and secondary color. And your circles do not need to be perfect. Okay, so over here I'm just going to write the formula. Primary plus secondary equals tertiary. And all the tertiary colors have two names. And of those two names, the primary name always comes first. So it's yellow, green. Put that right here. And then green and blue. Blue is going to come first since it's the primary. So that's blue, green. Blue and violet. Blue is the primary, so it comes first. Red and violet, red is the primary, so it comes first. And red and orange, red is the primary. I think you're understanding. And orange and yellow, which would be yellow-orange because yellow is the primary. So now I just need to make those colors. Okay, so we're starting with the lightest color first. Yellow. And then I don't really need to rinse it out since it's so light. I can grab some of the orange and put that on top. Still not my favorite, but that is our yellow-orange. And then I can rinse it out really quick and do red and orange, starting with orange first because it's a tiny bit lighter. And then adding red. I would say violet is the stronger color on praying, so I'd go ahead and put that down first. Ooh, yep, that's really dark. And then I'd go ahead and rinse it out in both cups and then get the red. because otherwise it's going to color your red. So you can see the change of that. It's more of a reddish color than that violet. I'm going ahead over here and putting violet in here, rinsing, and putting some blue. I don't think I grabbed enough, so I need to get plenty on my brush to come over here and make that blue violet. It's also known as indigo. So rinsing. Now you can see this cup is getting pretty dirty. Still, that is really what this cup is for, and it's still really clean. So that's how you prevent having to get a bunch of water a bunch of different times. Blue, rinsing, and green. Rinsing again. And last but not least, using our yellow, and you can go ahead and go straight to the green. And the green, and it kind of makes a lime green color. All right, so here's our ending water. And then our clean cup, you can see is still really clean. So that really helps with keeping everything clean and not having to get 100 cups of water. And then my paper towel. You can notice I don't have any paint on my brush, but it still looks yellow. That's just because the bristles are white and the colors are kind of like dye, so it's just going to change the color of the brush. Now, these watercolors are all still pretty wet, so I want to leave this open for at least an hour or two and let some of that water evaporate, because if you don't, it can disintegrate your watercolors over time. All right, so now we have a nice chart. Forgot to put that second triangle in. And then in the middle here would be like mixing all your neutrals together. So today, though, we were just focusing on primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. Secondary colors by mixing two primaries together. So I could write that formula. Primary plus a primary equals a secondary. So we've got green, violet, and orange. Then mixing a primary plus a secondary equals the tertiary or intermediate colors, which are yellow green, blue violet, red orange, and yellow orange. And there are 6 of those. And that is our color wheel, and this will be a tool that we will use for our other projects. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you next time.